This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, one moment. Uh, okay, go ahead, Edie.
Okay, hi. Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Edie Dobres. I'm the Executive Director at the Homewood Science Center. And we've been thinking, like a lot of organizations have been thinking, about ways that we can help support our community during the pandemic. And one of the ways that we thought of that could be helpful is to reach out to one of our really great friends and volunteer. Her name is Kin Khan. She's a
Mm-hmm.
PhD in clinical psychology. She's a licensed clinical psychologist. She's also an associate professor at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. So she's a professor, a teacher, but she also has more than 20 years of experience working with children, adolescents, and families. But to us at the Homewood Science Center, she is our leader of the Kids Committee. So she works with our kids about working on their leadership skills, working on their communication skills. And our kids committee has been in existence since 2016. I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of and thankful to Ken for leading it, because it really has given young people a voice at the Homewood Science Center and a presence that's really front and center. And I think that's so important. So we really need to think too now during this time, how can we support our families? How can we support our young people? So thank you, Ken, for agreeing to talk to us today. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, it's my pleasure. And during this difficult time, we have to be intentional about connecting with each other and taking care of each other and taking care of our children. So I'm happy to engage in this sort of Q&A, but I have to say I already know the Q. So I've made this PowerPoint to make the A easier to see. So
Well,
let's begin
I
with
also
our
want,
first
I also want
question.
to, Ken, also want to introduce that we have two of our team members here with us. I'm a parent, but my children are adults. My youngest is 25, my oldest is 31. But two members of our team, Holly, a lot of people know Holly is our program manager, is here, and she has a young daughter. She's in third grade. And then Andrea Brown Thurston is also a member of our team, and she's got a pretty good wide range of children at home. So I think that also adds to the questions. So they're going to chime in with some of the questions here. And I think Holly
Okay.
might have the first question.
All right.
Yeah,
One second. Go ahead.
thanks so much for being here with us today, Ken. So, everybody's talking about routines. So, can you share why daily routines are important for children?
Absolutely. Daily routines are important for children for many reasons. One of the most important function of the daily routine is that it gives a sense of predictability. Children, usually have a lot of predictability. Their days are highly structured. They know what time they're supposed to get up. They go to school. They know what class they will be taking, what room they should be in, when to have lunch. So there's a lot of predictability and structure normally for children. So during this time, it's important to have these routines because it gives the children a sense of normalcy, a sense of control, because if you know what's coming, you know what to do. So you have that sense of control. And all that helps really with the sense of safety and it reduces anxiety. So that's a very important function of routine for children and actually for adults too. I mean, we could do, whatever for a couple of days, but if this drags on without that sense of routine, we will be out of balance and there will be more anxiety. So this routine is really important to manage anxiety. Another thing, which is a good thing for parents, is that if there are clear, simple routines, there will be a lot less time spent negotiating, figuring out, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? What are you supposed to be doing? And, Mom, can I please do my homework another time? And what time am I supposed to be doing this? And you don't have to go up to the room and go, what is it that you're doing now? Aren't you supposed to be doing your homework? Don't you have homework? And so there would be less time, less confusion, less negotiation, less time for conflict, less opportunity for conflict. You don't every day have to, negotiate a new schedule. So it will save a lot of time for parents. And nowadays, we all could use more time as parents. And you have common days and common households. So I think, as a parent, I appreciate that. The other thing, too, is routine really helps regulate our body. If we get up at the same time, have regular meal times, sleep at the same time, it helps our body to maintain its function, its balance. We all know that if you're used to getting up at a certain time, you don't even need an alarm. Our body have these regular rhythms, and that if we don't follow with at least some routine, sometimes our body can go out of whack, out of balance. And sleep is one of the most important things. It's tied to your mood, it's tied to stress, it's tied to your bodily function, your memory. And so having that routine really serves a lot of very important functions.
Thank you.
Sure.
I think Andrea has a question about dealing with all the different ages of kids.
Yes, yes. So I have early elementary and late elementary children, and I actually do. I have a pre-K student, sixth grade, and an eighth grader. So how should my approach to managing their days differ based on those age gaps?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Well, first of all, there's common needs. Doesn't matter what age the children are, they all need simple, clear, consistent routine. So, the routine should not be very complex. That's difficult to follow. The expectations should be clear. And the routine should consist of some academics, some physical activity, and some creative, fun, and virtual social activities. So the stuff that is in their normal day, so each in their normal days before the pandemic, they had academic time, they move around a lot, they have gyms, they have, they run around with their friends, and they have fun times, social times. So those are common to all kids. So now in terms of the younger kids, they will need more scaffolding. So they will need more help with structuring. So you are going to be the one that will be, in general, making up the schedule, although you can still ask for the help of choosing different things to do. But you take control over the primary major structures. Within each part of the structure, you can give them some choices. They also have, so in terms of the structuring too, that you are going to be the one that will be accessing their e-learning and things like that. They're going to need your help with, doing some of the assignment. So they will need more structure. They also have shorter attention span, so it's important to have realistic expectation that you really cannot expect, a first grader to sit for an hour and work on their math, whereas the eighth grader maybe, probably. And the younger kids are going to need more breaks. They need to move more. So the expectation for the younger and the older kids should be different. But for both type of kids, or no matter what age, a clear, consistent, simple structure that they could actually follow is very important, and it's common to any kid. For the older kids, they still need clear expectations, but you can begin to give them a bit more autonomy and engage them as problem solvers. So you can say, like, each day you need X hours of academic, X hours of physical activity, and then you should have some fun time. Can you come up with a schedule that you can stick to? And then you review the expectation and the schedule with them, and you would help them tweak it so that it works well for you, for them, and for everyone in your family.
All of the
So
different covers that you need.
yeah. So they could they now could have more say, and they could help problem solve some stuff. The older they are, the more they can help with that, the less structure they will need, and the longer they could pay attention, and you can give bigger blocks of time where they could do their academics. But they still need some support. You can also let the older kids help out more. So you don't want them to take the parenting role, but occasionally you can say, hey, look, mom or dad, or both mom and dad, between 10 to 10:30, we have this meeting. But your little sister or little brother is going to be so tired of academic, and we need some way to occupy your little sister or little brother for 30 minutes. Can you help mom or dad or whoever? Can you help us problem solve? What can we do? Would you be able to, do a story time with your sister, or do some artwork or something like that? So giving older kid a chance to help out, give them a sense of agency and connection to you and to the family, and contributing. So it helps them to have that ability to be helpful. And one important thing to remember is that this time we're asking a lot of everybody, especially of the parents. Parents, you are either working full time or you're taking care of everybody and everything. At the same time, you're managing kids' schooling. So it is very important to remember that good enough is perfect, and that perfect is not something that is possible or even desirable, because that would mean that if you make everything perfect for everybody, that means you don't have time for yourself. So any questions? I should have asked that in the previous slide as well. Any questions?
That was a nice overview. Thank you, Ken. I think
Sure.
Helen have the next question.
Well, yeah, so it's pretty normal right now for kids and adults to feel sad and anxious about the pandemic. How do we support our kids in expressing their emotions?
Absolutely. I think that's a great question. Yes, it is a difficult time for everybody, and we will have these feelings are normal. So one of the most important things to remember is that kids take their cues from us. They watch us. They are really, really great detectors of our feelings. So we must, if nothing else, we must manage our own sadness and anxiety first. So some of the things that are important to do for ourselves is to get accurate information, and then limit our own exposure to the media, including social media. There have been research that found that we can be traumatized by the media, even if we don't experience something directly. So one of the studies looked at the Boston Marathon bombing, And one of the findings was that those people that have high exposure to media coverage of that tragedy actually were more traumatized than those that were there. So it is important to realize that we and our children can be traumatized by the media. So it's important to get accurate information so we can do the safe things, but at the same time, it's really important to limit our exposure to media. The other thing is that we have to practice good self-care. So we have to sleep well, we have to eat healthy, we have to exercise, we have to maintain social connections, we have to find a way to manage our own stress. So like the homeless science centers, yoga, any stress management that you normally do that's helpful, like meditation, stress, relaxation, all those things are important for us to practice. And then the other thing is important is to let kids know that they can talk to you about anything, no matter how shocking, how uncomfortable. But it's important not to push, not to make them tell you things, even if they look like, they are sad or thinking about something. But just open the door and say, I'll be there whenever you're ready. And when they do come to you, make sure that you truly are there, that you aren't doing anything else. If you are in the middle of something, you can say something like, it is so important. I'm so happy that you are coming and sharing your thoughts and your feelings with me. And it's really important to me. So I want to pay 100% to you. So can you just hold it? Let me finish and turn off the fire, if you're cooking or something like that. Or, let me just save this document and turn off the computer. So really be there when they talk to you. Empathize with their feelings. So, don't say, oh, well, other people are so much worse than us. Say, yeah, it really stinks that, that you cannot go to your friends right now. Or it really is scary when we hear news like that. It is really sad. And it's okay to feel those feelings and feel sad and cry if you want to. And then you can also help them find ways to explore and express their feelings. So you can say like, lots of things has changed recently. We don't get to see our friends. We don't get to go out. So even though there are some things that stay the same, like for example, or ask them like, what are some of the things that stay the same? Like, mom and dad still tuck me into bed every night, and we still eat meals together, but there are a lot of things that has changed. So we have a lot of feelings about that. Would it be helpful if we do a book together? Or maybe we do an artwork together where we express all our feelings. For the little kids, it could be just like, maybe red is for, angry, and yellow is for happy, and just kind of like help them express their feeling and help them recognize that you can have many different feelings at the same time. So you could be happy that you don't have to go to school, but sad at the same time because you don't get to see your friends. So, so creating artworks is helpful for kids, especially if they are very young, or if they are very interested in arts anyway. You can also do storytelling. So you can make up characters to represent, young people their own age, and create a story. So you can tell the story with them. So you can do a mutual storytelling. And there you can help them manage their feeling in the story. So if the little girl is feeling sad, then you can say, I wonder, the little girl's mom may say, yeah, I'm feeling sad too about what's happening. I wonder, maybe, whatever the little girl's name, can you tell me more? So you can do mutual storytelling so that there's a little bit of distance between them and the scary feeling. So that's possible. They could do writing. Recently, I know there's a movie called Inside Out, and I think a lot of kids have seen that movie, and it's kind of fun, but it's another way to like these characters, these internal characters, each representing different feeling. If they're older, they can draw those characters inside them. So these are all ways that creatively you can help them express their feeling. You can also engage kids as problem solvers to give a sense of control and agency. So Holly, you talk about Mr. Roger, about in scary times there are always helpers right now, like the doctors and nurses. And so you can also ask the kids, like, well, is there anything we can do to help? So is there somebody we know that lives alone who might be lonely? Maybe we can call them. Maybe we can check on them. So all these would help kids manage these feelings. So sometimes action can help, manage some of the emotion. Does that make sense, or any questions?
That's great. Thank you so much, Ken. I think that's really
All
helpful.
right.
I think Andrea has the next question.
Yes. So, are there signs that parents should look out for if they're concerned about their child's mental health? What would some of those things to look
Sure.
out for be?
Yeah, I could talk a little bit about that. And the most important thing is really know your child and watch out for anything unusual that persists. So things that is unusual. So knowing your child is the best way to figure out whether there is something really serious is happening. Okay, so some of the things to look out for is any negative feeling that persists and don't come and go with external events and situations. So, just like adults with kids, if something bad happens, we're going to feel bad. Something scary happens, we're going to feel scared. But, after that, we go back to our usual state. But if the feeling doesn't go away and doesn't come and go, that may be signs of more serious issues. Another sign to look for is withdrawal. So if kids that are normally quite social all of a sudden are not interested in connecting with their friends and family, they're by themselves all the time, that would be a significant issue. Loss of interest, so they are no longer interested in things that they normally enjoy, and loss of appetite or eating too much. These things fluctuate, so appetite fluctuates, and that's fine. But if there is a persistent loss of appetite that seems unusual, or eating too much, or somebody, so that would be something to look out for. Crying that persists. So, kids cry sometimes, that's no big deal. But if it's crying every day, it's crying a lot, and it's unusual for the child, that would be a problem. Anxiety that stops them from doing things. So, anytime a kid does something new, there's also always a little bit of anxiety, and anxiety isn't bad. Oftentimes, a little bit of anxiety is really helpful. It helps us gear up to do something. It helps us to, it motivates us. So a little bit of anxiety is not bad, but a lot of anxiety that actually stops them from doing things, like they're so anxious that they cannot take a shower. That would be problematic, especially for someone that did not have those issues before. A child that have difficulty sleeping, have nightmares or bedwetting, for a child who did not have these issues before, or who had these issues before but is no longer, that they have already worked through those issues. If they started reappearing, that could be a sign that there are some significant issues that you want to check out. Clinginess that's unusual for the child, and a little bit when things change, a little, anxious or new situation. Clinginess in young children do increase a bit, but once they feel safe, that should diminish. And so persisting clinginess is something that you want to talk to your child and really pay attention to. Aggressiveness that is unusual for the child. And let's see what else. Sometimes sleeping too much can also be a problem. I forgot when I talked about sleep issues. Sometimes sleeping too much can be a problem. And basically anything unusual for your child that persists. And then definitely any talks or actions of self-harm would be a sign of significant issue. Any questions on that?
No, thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. It's always good to just keep those things in mind. But
right.
I think we're gonna end on a positive note. There are some things to look at as far as, I'd say, time. Time is a precious commodity, and we're all of a sudden have more time with our families. So yes, of course, we have work to do, we have school to do, we have learning to do, but we also can have some fun. And do you have some ideas for families?
Yeah, I'm sure we all have tons of fun ideas, but here are some of my thoughts. The first point is actually from my 10, although now just turned 11-year-old son. He said to me, Mom, I used to look forward to coming home from school because, school is long days, stressful. So I come home, I'm on the bus, I'm coming home, I look forward to it, and I go, when I get home. He said, but now there's no such thing. I'm home all the time. So I think that it would be good to have some transition routine from work to home time. So one thing that my family used to like to do is these puzzles that the family can all work together, that could last several days, sometimes several weeks for us. And so, we would have 1,000-piece puzzles that we can use to each of us can contribute. So if you have adults and older kids, you can have 1,000-piece of puzzle, and at the end of workday, you can just go there and put together a few pieces. And so that's kind of a signal to your mind that, okay, I'm done with work. It's now home time, and my energy should be primarily focused at home. For the younger kids, maybe 100-piece, 300-piece. So some way to transition, and I'm sure you have other ideas for transition. So I thought that was kind of interesting that I didn't think about, that my son had pointed out to me. Some family moves together time, yoga, dance would be, fun to do. You can also have family cuddle time. You can find a show that everybody likes. We started watching the Great British Baking Show. It's really quite enjoyable, and they got many seasons, and it's very positive. Yeah, it's a very positive show, and we just started watching that during this stay-at-home period, so we really enjoyed that. The other one that we like, which is the final dish, the final table. That's about all these great chefs from around the world making in different countries, cooking in different countries. So it's one of them is actually in Chicago. So one of the great chefs is in Chicago. So that's another one. You can also do fun things like pretend camping. You know, take a piece of cardboard paper, stock paper, or something. Poke little holes in it. Fold the paper in half so that it can stand, and put your iPhone light under it, and turn off your light in the bedroom, and then you can project stars in the ceiling, and you can pretend that you are outside camping. You can tell story. So for the younger kids, they may enjoy that. So the other thing too that's important and that's kind of fun, that could be fun, is social connection, maintaining social connection. So you might find out from your friends, family, neighbors nearby that may have a special day like birthday, anniversary. You can have your kids. So this is especially when you're busy doing something else. You can have the kids make a giant birthday card, using cardboard. And then you can text your friend, call your friend, your neighbor, and say, today at 7 p.m. we're gonna drive by your house, and we're gonna, can you come to the window? And then when you get there, you roll down the car window, hold up that giant card, and honk, and then yell happy birthday. So I think that may be kind of fun. I think I got that from somewhere. I'm not sure where I got it from. I want to attribute it, but I don't remember where I got that from. Another one that I got from the newspaper is maybe you can organize your neighbors around where you live to put teddy bears in the window. I think that was in the news somewhere. It could be a drawn color in teddy bear. It could be an actual teddy bear. They can put more than one, and then the kids can go on a bear hunt. So you can make cookies, you can have virtual dinner parties. So there's tons of ways to connect. And I think that, as Edie has said earlier, this is a time where we really need to be intentional in our connections. In the past, we see people, daily, easily, of people that is not in our immediate family, but nowadays we have to be much more intentional. So of our connection to other. That's some of the idea. Any thoughts? Any questions?
Well, I think that I'd love to end on this note, because we do need to look for the joy when we can find it. And it may come in unexpected ways. And I agree with the puzzles, Ken. We've been doing puzzles at my house, and it's addicting and it's fun, and it really does get your mind on something. You're doing something together that's constructive, and it's addictive. It's addictive in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have a sense of accomplishment, but there are simple joys that we can find, and maybe that's what part of this time is teaching us, is finding those simple joys together as a family. So
and now we have to be much more intentional, much more mindful, and that's teaching us to really truly appreciate these things that we take for granted.
Yep. Well, Ken, we don't take you for granted. We appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us today, your compassion for the community you share all the time that you've done from the beginning with Homewood Science Center. I also want to thank Andrea for joining us, and Holly too, with their questions. So thank you so much, everyone, and I hope you have a great day. And thanks for tuning in and listening to this presentation. Bye-bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.